What's going on, everybody? This is Marcus. James Gunn is now the co-CEO of DC Warner Brothers, and we could get a possible Marvel versus DC on the big screen live action format one day, and that's going to be super awesome. But all this and more, and I'm going to get right into it. First things first, I want to thank you guys so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. And for those who are new to my channel and seeing it for the first time, boys and girls, make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications whenever I drop a video. And we're going to always keep this thing rolling. You guys' support means so much to me, and your feedback means a lot to me too. And for those who have subscribed to me since day one, thank y'all so much for riding with me. And for those who haven't, you guys are in for a treat. What are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel. I cover everything, you name it, from comics, video games, music. I do it all. So thank y'all so much for supporting me. I will not be able to do this without you guys, so thank y'all so much for everything. So let's get right into it. This is actually excellent news that James Gunn's now going to be involved with DC Warner Brothers full-time, especially with Warner Brothers Discovery DC Studios. It's definitely looking promising because I know prior to that, it seemed as though DCEU and Warner Brothers are going through a slope, especially with the personal issues going on between Amber Heard and Ezra Miller at that particular time. And then not talking about returning of Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, their futures of being in the WB and the DCU were pretty much like uncertain. But after seeing Black Adam, especially seeing it recently, is looking pretty promising that the DCU is definitely going to be in great hands. And of course, spoiler alert, Henry Cavill does come back as the Man of Steel in the end credits of Black Adam. And of course, spoiler warning for sure for those who haven't seen the movie just yet. But it's epic anyway, though. But I will say this, that the DCEU is definitely in great hands, and I believe they're going to keep the formula right where it is now that James Gunn's involved as well, though. So, but there's like so many opportunities you can do with Marvel versus DC for sure. Now, think about it this though. A Marvel vs. Capcom live-action movie? That would be pretty awesome, too. I mean, think about this. The background music's playing for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, so think about it like that. How cool would that be if you can actually do a Marvel vs. Capcom live-action movie as well, having the Street Fighter characters and all the other Capcom characters like Mega Man teaming up? That would be awesome, but I'm going to say that for another day to talk about that as well, though. But I want to point this out, too. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did a phenomenal job with playing Black Adam. Shout out to you, my brother. I love you, man. You're the man of the people. Thank you so much for everything. And on top of that, he wanted to do it for the fans anyway, because he wanted to make sure that the character was portrayed properly, and that he did too, though. So my brother, thank you so much, man. You're the man of the people. I cannot wait to cross paths with you, man. Favorite wrestler, my favorite actor, and you're a phenomenal person too, so I definitely can't wait. So anyway, thank you so much, brother. And on top of that, I'm looking forward to seeing the future of the DCU, that's for sure. Because there's so many opportunities you can do with Marvel vs. DC. For example, Namor, Aquaman, Thanos, Darkseid, She-Hulk, Wonder Woman, Superman, Iron Man, Batman, Superman Thor, Superman Spider-Man, Spider-Man Batman, Batman Iron Man, the Avengers, the X-Men, the Avengers, Justice League. So many crossovers you can do, especially the universes as far as like the ultimate beings from the Marvel universe meeting the DC universe, like in the comics. I mean, it already happened in the comics for sure. So the possibilities are endless, that's for sure though. So, but Cosmic Wonder, Warren Thompson was talking about the exact same thing, so we're going to get right into it. So without further ado, let's do it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and no, I am not over-exaggerating in the title. It looks like a Marvel vs. DC crossover is entirely possible and actually has a chance of happening. It could even be in development at Marvel Studios right now. Of course, very, very early development in the stages of just being talked about, which we actually do have a confirmation of, which of course we'll talk about in this video. But this is kind of the dream. Marvel and DC crossing over. Iron Man versus Batman, Thor versus Superman, Thanos versus Darkseid, and we could go on and on. Wonder She-Hulk, Black Widow, Aquaman, all of these awesome characters could be on the same screen together. Now, of course, they've done this in Marvel Comics.
Yep.
We've had Marvel and DC crossovers. We never really thought it would happen on film, though. However, not too long ago, and over the past couple of years, we've heard rumors that they kind of are talking about it over at DC and Marvel. And today, we have confirmation that that was indeed true. And as it turns out, things are kind of lining up perfectly for it to happen, because James Gunn was just announced to be the new sort of Kevin Feige over at DC Studios. He is co-CEO now, and obviously James Gunn has huge connections with Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. They love each other.
Best friends.
James Gunn has directed all of the Guardians of the Galaxies, including the holiday special and the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He has done an amazing job with that franchise, but he has also done amazing work over at DC, directing and writing quite possibly the best things to come from DC, like The Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker by far is one of the best series and
I love
projects in
Peacemaker.
general to
Peacemaker's
come from
awesome.
DC, period. That show was amazing. And that's James Gunn. And so today, an old interview that James Gunn did with Jake's Takes for the Suicide Squad is re-emerging, because in this interview he confirmed that there have been talks about doing that crossover, and now James Gunn is co-CEO of DC Studios, which means the Marvel DC crossover has a very real chance of actually being made. Listen to what James Gunn said in this interview with Jake's Takes about his thoughts about a Marvel DC crossover film.
Be happy to do a Harley Quinn and Groot movie. That would be exciting. And not only have I thought about that, but I've actually talked about that to the heads of both Marvel and DC. But, you know,
Harley Quinn, Groot.
You know, everybody's open to everything, but whether anything would ever happen, who knows? But the idea of being able to bring Marvel and DC together in a movie that would be really fun for me. And I know it's exciting for even the heads of Marvel and DC to think about Kevin Feige over Marvel, Toby Emmerich over Marvel. Like they're, you know, it's something we all like to dream about. Whether we could ever get through the barrage, the Berlin Wall of lawyers we would need to get through to ever make something like that happen, I don't know, but it would be a lot.
So as you
It would be a
just
blast
heard,
for sure.
This is something that James Gunn actually wants to do and has brought up to both heads of Marvel Studios and the head over at Warner Brothers. But the only difference now is there is a complete change in leadership over at Warner Brothers. In fact, it is now Warner Brothers Discovery. And they have now created a separate entity titled DC Studios. That's the name of this new company. And James Gunn has recently been named co-CEO of DC Studios. And rightfully so. Like I mentioned before, he has done amazing work for DC. Not only that, but he has worked extremely close with Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios, making amazing films and directing the amazing Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. So this is quite literally perfect for not only us fans, because now this has the chance to actually happen, but for James Gunn. James Gunn said both people in charge of Marvel and DC/Warner Brothers were open to it, but now he is one of the only people who could actually make the call to make this happen. And he has publicly stated that he wants it to happen and has even brought it
Marvel
up before
DC
in the
United.
past. And the fact that him and Kevin Feige have worked together for many, many years is fantastic, because this means that they love working together. I'm sure they learn from each other, and since they get along well and typically share some of the same visions, getting over all of that legal stuff won't be exactly too hard, because it's easier when you're with somebody you like. And Kevin Feige has stated many times in the past before, and so has James Gunn, that the studios get along. They root for each other. They are not against each other by any means, and it's not like Marvel wants the Justice League to fail because they have the Avengers or vice versa. In fact, it's been stated many times that Kevin Feige has called the people over at DC and has congratulated them on some of their successful films. So this is now incredible news, because the possibility of having that Marvel DC crossover is incredibly real. And although this is extremely new, James Gunn just became co-CEO over the past couple of days, the fact that he's brought this up before means that he most likely will bring it up again and bring it up to his old buddy Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios. So while I don't think that it's going to happen anytime soon, I do think it is a possibility for the future, especially with Secret Wars coming up. And keep in mind, we are in the multiverse saga. I even stated way back before Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness came out, where I thought it was going to travel into just so many more universes than we actually got, that it was possible for them to go into a DC universe, and we could have even seen Batman or Wonder Woman. Obviously, that didn't happen, and the movie was on a much smaller scale than a lot of us thought it was going to be, but it's possible now, which is super exciting to think about. I'm not saying Batman's going to show up in Secret Wars, that's not going to happen, but a crossover film could definitely be in our future, and I'm really, really excited for that, and I hope it happens sometime within the next few years. Heck, I'd be excited if it came out before I died. But let me know how excited you would be for this in the comments down below. Let me know
Oh, he's so
thoughts.
hilarious.
Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay
Oh
up
my
to date
gosh,
on all
but it's so epic at the same time too. So it's like Marvel DC United, hashtag Marvel DC United worldwide. So trending worldwide for sure though. So I'll definitely make it trending worldwide, that's for sure. So, but this is actually what James Gunn said in his tweet after when he signed the deal. So this is what he said, and I quote, "Not only do I love Kevin, he was the first person I told after I did the deal with DC. At John Cena was the second. Contrary to popular belief, $1 less for Marvel is not $1 more for DC. DC and Marvel have the common goal of keeping the theater-going experience vibrant and alive." And then there was an article that posted after his tweet. Of course, James Gunn and Peter Safran are now the DC's new leaders. So the article was talking about that as well. They're now the co-chairs and co-CEOs of DC Studios. This is exactly exciting news, especially for comic book fans like myself. This is definitely going to be really cool. It definitely opens up the doors, not only because of the multiverse saga in the MCU, but so many crossovers as well, especially with the direction that the DCEU is going as well. And then, of course, there's Secret Wars around the corner. Of course, so many multiverse layers as well. Now, whether we'll get the DCEU in Secret Wars, highly doubtful, but it definitely opens up the doors for crossover promotions for Marvel vs. DC, considering they've already done that before. Of course, it started in 1975 with Superman and Spider-Man teaming up for the very first time. And then there was a sequel after that where they actually teamed up against Dr. Doom and Lex Luthor. In their first outing, they actually switched companies because Superman Clark Kent was working for the Daily Bugle, J. Jonah Jameson's company. And then Peter Parker Spider-Man was working for the Daily Planet, which is Perry White's company as well. And then they went on a double date with Lois Lane and Mary Jane. So that was actually epic at the same time as well, though. So, like I said, the possibilities are endless. And then not to mention, I did mention DC Doomsday Clock, where Dr. Manhattan actually revamped the DC universe because it was a sequel to the Watchmen series that Alan Moore wrote back in the 1980s. And so Dr. Manhattan reset the DC timeline. And while he was doing that, there was a comment that he mentioned about a green-skinned Goliath, which is actually a reference to the Hulk. So Dr. Manhattan might have actually went towards different timelines of different universes. So, like I said, the seed is actually there. It's already been planted. So now you can pretty much incorporate that into the live-action format, which everybody wanted to see for years. And now the fruition could actually happen. Everything that we talked about could happen into fruition. So I, for one, am definitely excited that James Gunn's on board full time. I am definitely happy where the DCU is going, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next for sure. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm definitely excited for this, you guys. James Gunn is definitely one of my favorite directors. With James Gunn and Peter Safran's vision, DCU is definitely going to be as epic and bright like the MCU for sure. Not to mention, of course, with the work that James Gunn did at Marvel Studios anyway, he's definitely going to be able to help out with the DCU as well. So I'm definitely excited for that as well. And of course, there's no competition because on top of that, you got like two awesome companies in Marvel versus DC. And then not to mention the fact that they're all awesome at the same time because you have incredible characters, both heroes and villains. It's like, for example, Auburn and Alabama football. It's like they're basically next door neighbors to each other, so it's like, why compete with each other at all? I mean, if there was possibility, like if there was like a wrestling corporation, you guys could actually just team up to begin with, you know? So it's like, I like both teams, both Bama and Auburn. When the setting's right, I definitely like them for sure. Or it's like, which wrestling company is better, WWE, AEW, or Ring of Honor, whatever. I mean, they're all awesome. Wrestling is wrestling. It's the same thing with comic books. Marvel and DC, Image Comics, Malibu Comics, those guys are great. I love them all, especially growing up as a kid. So, especially collecting all the comic books over the years and collecting them still, they're always awesome for sure, though. So, but like I said, this is definitely awesome, you guys. I'm definitely excited for the future of the DCU. It's going to be epic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for your support. And if I get more information as far as like what more news to cover as far as like the DCU is concerned, I'll definitely talk about that, of course, on the next one for sure. So, but in the meantime, thank y'all so much for everything, and y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Cosmic Wonder as well. He's really great. I love Warren Thompson and Comic Pop and Comics Explained, Comics Historian. That's where I get all my comic information from. So those guys are awesome. So they're awesome for sure, though. So, but thank y'all so much for everything. Thank you for your support. I love y'all so much. Make sure y'all like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. Y'all know what to do. Excelsior. I'll catch y'all in the next one.